The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Adiana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Too Cool alongside Jacky Lambert. And we want to thank you for getting up bright and early with us on this first day of February. Jacky, how you feeling? It's a new month.
I feel great. You know how everybody's just like, all right, I'm going to start 2022 in February. Today's the first day, kids.
We got to hit the restart button and reset everything. Good morning to you, Karen Simmons. Thank you so much for joining us. As you're joining us, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section to let us know you are here with us, because Jacky and I are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. So if you haven't already done so, please take a minute to share this episode wherever you are watching, because our feel good topic of the day, we are talking about travel itineraries, and we're actually going to switch it up a bit, because originally we were going to talk about group and solo trip, but we're going to be talking about our dream destinations and our bucket list. So make sure you stick around for that, because I'm pretty sure whether you've been off the island already or if you're still planning your first trip post Miss P, you're definitely going to want to stick around and let Jacky and I know where it is you plan on going. And later on in the show, make sure you stick around to test your knowledge against Jacky for excuse me, our feel good vibe of the day, which is trivia time with Terry. But to get you warmed up for today's conversation, if you do not know, our favorite island girl, Rihanna, is pregnant, and the internet went off on a tangent. Everyone was checking in on Drake and Chris Brown to make sure they were okay. And it's one other person they were checking in on. I don't know his name, but I saw his Twitter handle. So it was about 3 gentlemen yesterday that everyone was checking up on. But we wanted to switch the conversation a bit and talk about your thoughts on women, Black women specifically, having babies later on in life, because Rihanna's 33 and she's pregnant with her first child. Janet Jackson and Naomi Campbell had their babies in their 50s. And I think Halle Berry, I want to say, had her baby or was pregnant later on in life as well. So there are a lot of Black women who have, waited until their 30s, 40s, and 50s to have children. And we just want to talk about like, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think there is a specific reason? Do you think it's their careers as to why they waited? Do you think they didn't have the right partner and so they waited? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Jacky and I are going to start this conversation off as we always do, and then we'll bring in your comments as we see them come in. Jack, you and I are in our 30s.
I know. That's cool.
Neither of us have human children. One of us has a puppy, but neither of us have human children. So from your perspective, like, why do you think as a collective Black women are waiting to have babies later on in life?
I want to say that they're putting career first. They're being, this is not in a negative way, this is a positive way. They're being more selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Black people as a whole, well, Black women as a whole, they hold up everything, right? So to know that they're just like, I'm going to do my career. This is what I want to do. And when I want to have kids, I'll have kids. But they're taking ownership over the bodies a lot more. And they're way more specific about who they're letting be the father of their children.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that as well. More intentional.
Yes, and that's the word too, right? They're being a bit more intentional, which, there's not to say that if women started early in their life that have children, that there was why did they do it early? I think that's a whole nother conversation to have, right? Because depending on when you decided to have a child, like maybe you were ready. Maybe you felt like you were ready to be a parent. And so by all means, go for it. And I think what I find interesting about the Rihanna conversation is like people have been saying she's been pregnant for years. Like I feel like Rihanna's been pregnant for the last 3 years, according to everyone else. And for her to finally confirm it with these pictures with ASAP Rocky and the belly is out there. And I'm just like, okay, y'all be quiet now. Leave her alone.
Yeah, I definitely go back and forth of like myself. I'm like, why did you wait so long? Because I remember being like 19, 20 and being like, yo, this is my person. I'm gonna have kids. Like this is it. And even now, I'm just like, woo, could you imagine me? I'd have a 14-year-old.
You would. And they'd probably be taller than you.
I know. I'd have a 14-year-old, like, I wouldn't have to worry about them. I'd have to worry about them, obviously. But, like, they'll be in that teenage stage where they're just like, you can back off now. I know how to cook my own food. I know how to do this. Like, and then at the same time, just like, but then I wasn't ready at the same time. Like, I was ready, but I wasn't ready. Like, I was mature enough, but why would I do that to myself so young when I'm basically just beginning to live myself? Whereas now I feel better because I was like, I've lived, I've traveled, and now I'm ready for that living and traveling with my family type thing.
Right. And I want to bring this comment in from Karen Simmons. She says, women, Black, should have children when they're ready. Age should not be a factor if you're healthy, more intentional. And I think that kind of comes to your point too earlier. And just like circling back around that idea of when you are ready, because everyone's ready is different. Because like you could have been ready for the idea of a child, but to actually be a parent and do the work, not so much. And even to this comment that Karen says, she says I was in my 30s when I had my 2 children settled, hubby and I, and as ready as we could have been. And I think the word ready is definitely subjective, right? Because we think we're ready and then not so much.
Ready? And then it's just like, oh, I forgot about this part. You know, I mean, I feel like you're never 100% ready for kids because it's always that last little thing where it's just like, I probably could have taken one more trip, or I probably could have made it one more year, or made it till I made another like certain amount of money. But at some point, you just gotta be like, okay, this is as ready as I'll be, and that's what I like about that.
I do too, and I think with just even the Rihannas, the Janet Jacksons, the Naomi Campbells, it's like you said, they took charge and they made the decision for themselves, which oftentimes the conversation around pregnancy isn't usually made, quote unquote, by the woman per se. So I think it is pretty refreshing. And I just like the way Rihanna has handled it and gone about it, because even when she was doing the Barbados Independence, I feel like people were trying to like say that she was pregnant at that time, which obviously she was. But I just like the way that like she kind of like didn't even give it any energy. And I think that's also a part of it too, like giving the energy to the people talking about it.
Yeah, she basically kept living as if she was a regular person, as if nobody's talking about it. Like, if I'll show it when I show it, like, let me get past my, you know, because they say the first trimester, get past it, and then you can start telling people. But that's why I think people forget celebrities are still human. They're just like us. So you don't know what she may or may not have been going through, or it's just none of your business. She doesn't owe you anything except for an album. She needs an album.
Sis, I would not gonna get an album either because Nasha's pregnant. Like, come on. She needs to talk to her sister Beyonce and sort it out.
I think now would be a nice time to do some cute little like lullabies.
Yeah, give us something. Like, I feel like we would take anything. We would take a lullaby album. Give us a lullaby album. Like, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Or children's book. Like
I feel like, and so I've seen a lot of people talk about the Fenty Baby, and I'm pretty sure she has businesses lined up that will either be associated with babies and baby wear, or it's going to be something connect to her baby, like the baby's name's going to be on it, or something similar how Beyonce had Blue on her albums since she was born, and so now she gets like royalties and all of that stuff. So I'm like, I really see that coming because Rihanna's a billionaire off of her beauty and her Savage Fenty and all of that stuff. So I'm like, she's definitely going to be doing something for this baby when he or she pops out. But also just coming back to your point around like we don't know what she's been through. Like who's to say she hasn't been trying to get pregnant all this time?
Yeah.
And everyone talking about it, oh, when she's gonna get pregnant or she looks pregnant. Like who's to say like she hasn't dealt with weight issues and other Black women like because they're waiting later in life doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't try earlier in life. Maybe it just hasn't happened for them, or physically they wasn't in the right space,
And
or
some
their body just wasn't receptive.
and sometimes modern medicine and all the money you have just
Doesn't
takes
do it.
time. So it takes time. So I mean, obviously we've had some celebrities that have done surrogacy, so yeah, but she's blessed to be able to carry it herself. So that's a great thing. I'm just excited for her, and I just can't wait to see her as a mom. I hope she actually lets us in a little bit.
And I feel like, which is interesting because I don't think she's ever posted anything of her and ASAP Rocky on her Instagram. Now he has, from what I could tell. Wait, no, he has one post, never mind. But I've seen photos of the two of them, but I don't see her posting the two of them. But to be honest,
A lot of paparazzi, they're doing all the work for her.
right? Like,
That's
just
her
tag me.
business page.
I wonder where her personal page is. Like, that's the page I want to follow. Like, I don't want to follow Bad Carrie. I want to follow Robin Fenty on Instagram. That's who I want to follow.
And instead of us, like, you know how we have our close friends little spot, I feel like hers is just her immediate.
Does she even follow people? That's the thing. She follows like a little bit of people. So that's, yes, to your point, yes, she absolutely has a few people that she has in that little close friends bubble, and we're just not in it. And that's fine because we're not her close friends. And I do think people's opinion around her pregnancy, any Black woman's pregnancy, is definitely unwarranted, unnecessary, and just unsolicited.
Yeah, I just love, and they look happy. And I'm so excited to get away from, you know, the single mother thing. And I was nervous that she was going to have to do that. But, because, you know, she just had Drake. Had Drake. We don't know. They never actually confirmed that.
They never confirmed or denied it, but they did multiple songs together. And it's just like, if you're not together.
I know.
Dang.
Chemistry was good there. But
yeah.
I'm excited for her. I think everybody deserves it. I mean, deserves to experience it. Whew, I can get that up.
I also love that she kind of did it right before the month of love in a pink little trench coat, and it looks so lovey-dovey. I was like, oh, this is so nice.
And in my head, I'm like, I know you're freezing. I'm been out there.
You're really doing this for us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. With that note, Jack and I are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our feel good topic of the day. We are going to be discussing dream travel locations as well as your bucket list. So make sure you do not go anywhere. Jackie and I will be right back after this commercial break.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just joining us for our Feel Good warm-up, we're talking about Black women that have waited later in life to have their children. And we wanted to bring this comment in from Janae before we started our Feel Good topic of the day. Janae says, I love that couple. Two of my favorites, they being Rihanna and ASAP Rocky. It takes me back to their song, Fashion Killer. They've been good together. I actually forgot about that song.
Yeah.
I did.
No, I really enjoy watching them and how he takes care of her. Like, even on the Met Gala, like, sure that she was straight, let her have her shine. But of course, maybe she was pregnant around that time. So
she absolutely was. Like, I don't like.
He's extra attentive. He is extra attentive, but yeah.
She absolutely was, and they were definitely foreshadowing. We just were not in the close friend circle, so we didn't get the updates.
I mean, believe it or not, I have a friend that was just like, no, she's pregnant. And I showed a video, and I was just like, she is covering her stomach with her purse in every single picture. Every time people get in too close, she covers it and protects it. So I'm just like, she may not be far along, but she's covering. She's already protective.
Yeah, which I think is beautiful. And then so I saw a 10-year challenge of them too. I guess it's around the time that Fashion Killer came out, and just like it was like 2013, and then like the picture from yesterday, and I was like, that's a cute 10-year challenge. I like that one.
I like that.
I love it. So switching gears a bit, Jackie is the resident travelista on the show. She loves all things travel. And so today we are talking about your travel bucket list and dream destinations. We do have a resource, which is bucketlistjourney.net, and they have given us 5 keys to make your travel itinerary for the perfect trip. But before we get into that, we want to start off by asking you, well, what type of traveler are you? Are you a holiday maker? Do you like to create, holiday experiences? Do you typically go on business trips? Do you like adventure? Or are you a long-term person? So do you like 2 weeks and up? So let us know what type of traveler you are, Jacky. Based on your recent experiences and maybe overall, what type of traveler are you?
I'm actually all of the above, to be honest. So when you think of like work and business, it'll be more so taking a team away or being a part of a team, tennis. And those are fun because they always have one day where they're just like, all right, we're going to go, like it's your off day. We're going to go to the mall. And I'm just like, can we go to the local market? Like, is there a local market? I always try and like change things up. Can we go to the local market? Or if you go to the mall, can you like, kind of give us a little tour so we know what's happening. I remember one time when we went to India, they took us to the Taj Mahal, and then they took us to a few different markets, and then we came back to the village that they had us in.
Right.
But, like I even like the little quick short hops. I love the long stays. I'm down for everything.
Jacky's the best person to take on a trip. Doesn't matter what type of trip it is. She clearly will love it. I know me personally, I'm more of a long-term person. I think I prefer long-term trips because I feel like there's always a travel day at the front and the end of it. And then I feel like there's never enough time. And I guess that's because I always go back to Atlanta. Right now, in the beginning, I would always go back to Atlanta. So it's kind of like I have so many people that I'm trying to see and I need time to see them all. So a short hop is not going to do it for me. And exploring the city that I used to live in, I don't really need that. But so when I go to places that I consider home, I do like the long term. But if I'm going to a new place, I want to explore. Like you just said, I want to be able to go to a market, go to I guess what is those things called? The 7 wonders of the world, something like that, like anything like that that's really of importance or significance in a travel location. That's something that I would like to explore. So if I'm not going to a place that I like or have been to that's home, I'm definitely going to be an adventurer, but I need to have people to adventure with.
Yeah, I've done it where, like I said, when I've traveled, I've like grabbed another country's captain. I'm just like, I need to go somewhere. You want to come? And they're like, you need to. I'm just like, not really, but I'm here in this country, and I just Googled that I should try this place, and I mean,
why not?
Sure, let's go.
Why not? And so your twin sister in spirit, Janae, says, when I travel, I want to stay at least a week and a half. Trips go so fast. She says her mama likes to stay longer, never likes to stay longer than 3 or 4 days. I can't travel with her. Like, honestly, a short hop is just not for me at all.
If I'm taking a hop to New York, it could be 3 to 4 days and quickly turn back around. But if I'm going to, say, Costa Rica, I'm going for 10 days. That's usually my trips. Like 3 to 4
either short hops or long trips.
Yeah. But I'll do both, like, especially if you're like, Jack, I'm taking you on a trip and I don't have to pay. That sounds like a good place to find some food.
As always, and I wanted to say good morning to everyone that is joining. Ian, Larry, Marshall, thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining us, we want to know what type of traveler you are, so let us know in the comments. If you like to create holiday experiences or generally travel around the holidays, do you typically do business travel? Do you like to look for adventure when you're on your trips? Or are you a long-term person? Do you like trips that are longer than 7 days? And this comment from Janae, I want to explore and fully indulge in whatever culture. I agree, like I can't do that in 3 days. Like even if I'm going to New York, like I still want to try to find something new in a place I've been. So if it's not, like I said, if it's not a home, because a home to me, trying to do all of that in 3 days, 7 days, it's never gonna happen. So I just exit that from the conversation.
It depends on where I'm going. Like I said, if I'm just going to New York is an hour and a hour to basically 2 hours away.
It's a drive.
Right. I could do that in another 2 months and go back. But if I'm going somewhere like Bolivia, Colombia, Costa Rica, stuff like that, or even like, I don't know if it's somewhere more exotic, I'm absolutely going for 10 to 14 days.
I used to dislike that word when I was away, like exotic, because people would say Bermuda's exotic. I'm like, what is exotic about Bermuda? It's not. It's a place. It's a
And
place in the world. Like
one place
everywhere.
I could go to the rainforest. You can't find
Like
that here.
you absolutely can't. But I used to try to like get people. I was like, everywhere is exotic if you've never been there. Like, stop saying this word exotic as if there's something magically special about every other place in the world. Like every other place in the world has something that probably you don't have, whether it is something natural or it's the
I don't
people.
find
Like,
New York exotic.
stop using that word.
I don't find New York exotic. So I can't use it for New York. Hey,
Shaq is like New York's basic. It's basic.
I feel like the States is like fast food, gun ranges.
And so that's definitely, so we're going to come to that shortly. I want to bring in this comment from Larry Marshall because I feel like a lot of us probably had this experience. He said, in my younger years, quick hops. Now I need time. So as you age, maybe you do want to experience, or you want to have longer time periods because we can't move around as fast. That's what it is. We're not moving around as fast as we used to. We can't just go to sleep at midnight and wake up at 6 a.m. and be ready to have a full day again. Like, that's not happening.
I can, but I'm napping on the drive.
So that means one of us has to be awake. So clearly, two of us can't do that together.
It needs to be like at least 3. I told you it's going to be a third person. We're not the drivers.
They're the driver. The third person has to be the responsible adult. We're trying to enjoy this trip. So you mentioned like you ran off a few countries earlier, and I want to ask the audience as well as ourselves, what locations are on your travel bucket list? Because whether you've been off the island or you're still planning your first trip off the island, I'm pretty sure some of us have a lot of locations or a few locations that are still on our list to kind of check off. So travel bucket list, Jackie, outside of the ones that you shared earlier, do you have any other places that are like top of your bucket list to hit off before you can't travel anymore?
As horrifying as the country is because of all the dangerous creatures that live there, I want to go Australia.
I knew she was thinking Australia, and I'm just like, it's a no.
I'm so like,
It's a no.
but here's my thing. One of my favorite sayings is there's so much fun on the other side of fear. And I just want to go over there and it's the spiders, man. It's the spiders. But they have
Spiders, it's the
like
kangaroos, it's the bats, it's the unknown species.
scream it too much. It's these snakes that think that your home is theirs, that are actually bigger than you. I don't mind snakes, but it's the venomous ones and the ones that are twice your size that terrify me. And then it's the spiders because they have like a spider season, and people think it's funny to send me stuff where I'm like, oh, it's snow. And then I look a little closer, I'm just like, oh my god, it's spiders, it's the webs, it's the webs.
Not the spider webs that you can go snow.
No, they have spider season, and the spiders basically the webs fall like snow. So you would think that it's snow covering all the trees and the roads and stuff. It's spider webs.
Ew. I definitely just had a moment. Like, no, thank
I will
you.
only be going during the Australian Open to the Australian Open, and hopefully I can use my dad's credentials to go on a fun little safe tour. Yeah, and then I want to hit some spots in Africa. Like that just whole continent just needs a like a year.
Just travel.
Like that long time. Like Jack, I'll see you in a year, and I'm like, maybe.
Maybe 3. We'll see what Africa provides. When it comes to this comment from Janae, she says Spain. I guess that's top of her list. Denver, NOLA, and Brazil. So those are nice. I've been to Denver, Colorado. It's nice. It's cool. And it's the altitude. It's really the altitude, to be honest. Like I've only ever been on the East Coast of the US. I've been to Las Vegas prior to going to Denver. So I hadn't really experienced like the West Coast of the US to kind of understand like what was going on over there. And I did not appreciate that the elevations. Like studied it in school, but because I never really been to a place where there was elevations, I didn't really clock it too tough. But definitely make sure you prepare yourself for that altitude shift because child, it is
Oh my God,
it will get you if you're not prepared.
I learned it the hard way in Ecuador.
Okay.
Play, and I spanked the ball, and the ball went pew. And we had regular balls. We didn't have elevation balls, which are heavier, and then
Okay.
different. So I was just like, we did not get here with enough preparation time. We should have been here like an extra 5 days earlier because now I have to readjust completely. But whatever. Okay, so let me tell you my
You do.
story. I had
It
a
was so funny.
friend that went to Cali. So when he was out there, I was just like, oh yeah, can you go to the mall and pick me up some sneakers? He's like, yeah, I've gone to a few malls. I can't find these sneakers you're looking for. He comes back, he gives me these sneakers. I was like, thanks. He's just like, then he shows me a picture of the other sneakers. I'm like, why are you pricing it like that? He's just like, oh, that's how they write the money in Colombia. And I'm like, you were in Cali, Colombia? I thought you were in the States. I'm here saying, like, why is it so hard for you to find sneakers in these States? Like, you're in Cali, like, that sneaker hub.
But why would he say Cali like that, knowing full well no one might know Cali is in Colombia? Like there is a city.
I was just like, I thought you were in Cali, like, California. Not,
I'm mad he didn't say that. I'm mad he didn't. Sir.
yeah, that's my
Sir. That is definitely a funny. So Janae, I want to come to this comment from her. She says, I also want to travel back to places I went to play or coach football because there wasn't enough time to explore like Greece, Amsterdam, Germany, etc. Wait, first of all,
love
really
it.
back. You played in Greece,
I went,
Amsterdam, and Germany?
I went to Rhodes, Greece. I think, what's Janae there? She could have been you there. She could have been you.
That's why you guys are soul sisters. You probably just hanging out in Greece together.
Probably.
Didn't even know it. And she says so she forgot Africa on her list of places to travel to.
Automatically on everybody's bucket list. Like, everybody.
You need at least one country. Like, even if you don't want to explore the entire continent, like you said, at least one country has to stick out to you in your mind to just experience because it's a whole continent. Like, it's a whole continent. And we keep ourselves limited to so many places that I guess because they're more popular to us. And like, there's a whole continent with numerous countries for you to explore. And you got to pick one.
Yeah.
At least one.
My thing is, I feel like I don't have enough time to explore the entire world, but I need it because I want to go. Like, Thailand is actually on the top of my bucket list, and there's different parts of it that's just like the different islands, I guess you could say, that I want to go and hop over to. And while you're there, you can hop over to like Vietnam and a few other different places. I can't remember what I actually had an itinerary for my cousin and it was my 30th and her 40th because we're a decade apart. So it was our trip. I can't remember what made it fall through.
Not the panorama because that was earlier than the panorama, but nonetheless.
Good.
I mean, you could do like 35, 45, still kind of a milestone.
Probably would do it, next year.
Because you know what, off the cuff, we don't do things like the rest of the people. So 35, 45, bang, that's the trip. Yeah. I already made it for you. And so speaking of Southeast Asia, Carlton Fleming says he wants to go to places like Malaysia, Vietnam, and Bali. Bali is definitely on my list as well. One of the things I'm cautious of about certain places, like when I'm thinking about traveling, is like, you know how as a tourist you go to these places and you experience like the best of the country, and so you come back saying, oh, the country is great, the country is this, that, and you don't really know enough about what's actually happening in the country. Like Bermuda, we know this to be true. When people come to Bermuda, they say, oh, it's a great experience, and then we're sitting here kicking up because government can't sort out coronavirus regulations for outdoor football games. And so like those type of things I definitely keep in mind when I think about places that I want to travel. I'm like, okay, this place looks great, it looks beautiful, yes, but what else is going on in that country before I actually say I want to travel there, because I don't want to become a part of their problem. Like people become a part of our problem.
That's what I did that's what I liked about going to the markets in India. You're giving right to the people, I guess you could say.
Like the local vendor, like again, directly to them, yeah.
I remember we had an assistant that was making sure that everything that we need, that was a local assistant, that was making sure we had everything. And I remember saying like, can we go to the market, not the touristy one that everybody, I know I want to go to the one for the people, with the people. Like, I want to mix and mingle. And she just looked at me and she was just like, okay, 1 second. And then we actually had to have security come with us. But if we can have the security to make sure that we're safe and I don't walk off on an adventure.
Like she did in Jamaica.
Then St. Lucia. Then
Oh.
yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm all for it, regardless. Show me the
Yeah,
real island, but in a safe way, because
and that's real because to the point of what's going on in those countries, we don't know what's going on. So we wouldn't necessarily know what's a good place to go to versus a bad place to go to. Or even when we're in a place, there could just be pickpocketers the same way there could be pickpocketers here. Like it's not a special concept to other parts of the world. So absolutely, I would like to be safe, but I would also like to be able to put into the local economy a little bit more directly versus the tourism economy where the big bucks continue to go up and the people down the bottom aren't really seeing any kickback.
Right.
Just my ideas.
Even thinking about this, they call him rude, like in the book where he goes to, is it Cuba? And he ends up all up in the mix.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, Palu, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it Cuba that he goes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He like gets shot in the
in the leg.
I don't want that experience of knowing what's happening in your country. Like, I still want to do that.
Man, I went through a whole experience, but different times, different decades, like totally different era of life. I'm not saying that I don't need that wouldn't happen in 2022, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't really thinking about his safety as a guy.
Yeah.
So it is. I want to bring this comment in from James Brett. She says, morning, Chile, Argentina, Kenya, New Zealand, and Eastern Europe are all on his travel bucket list. Those are really great places, I think. I would definitely want to go to Argentina.
Yeah, for the wine.
Sure. I wasn't even thinking about that, but sure. I was about the food, but sure.
I know.
I'm surprised you didn't say the food first.
I know, but I like the wine. So like, as soon as I thought like wine, yeah.
Still kind of on the foodie.
It is. It's
range.
Grapes. It's fruit.
It absolutely is. So this coming from Travel and Trotty Jack.
I always read the local paper during my travels and check the political climate before visiting a destination.
I think it's very important, not only because of the times we live in, but really because you have access to the information. So obviously, prior to having things like the internet or things being shared on social media, it was probably difficult to get that firsthand information to see what's really going on in a location. But now you can literally just Google and find out. I mean, Google with reason, because some countries do limit what information gets out there. So you can do the best research you can to kind of see what is going on in a country so that, if there is something that you should be aware of, you are aware of it, because nobody want to be locked up abroad or gone missing just because you wanted to explore the world.
You've seen all the movies around that.
Exactly. And if we haven't, you should watch them. Just
in case.
Set your expectations proper. So this comment from Travel Tyler said, Antarctica is on my living list.
Living?
I love that. Is that's what we're going to say now for our travel bucket list? We're not going to call it a travel bucket list. We're calling it a travel living list. I'm here for it. I'm here for it either way. I love it.
I already have my living list.
What's your living list? Wait, you should it.
Yeah, mine's Colombia, Costa Rica,
and
you know what? I've decided to add.
What you decided to add, sis?
I decided to add Germany to my list of places to possibly visit / stay. I don't know.
Why?
So my mom's stepdad is German, and he was always around, and go back home, and then he used to come back with all this wow chocolate.
Oh yes, they do have a nice chocolate. I wonder a dark chocolate though, because I can't do dairy.
Me either, but I feel like I can sacrifice for how I remember the memory of the white chocolate that they had, and I used to let it melt between my fingers, and then so depending on my experience over there with the chocolate, you might find out that I'm working in a chocolate
factory. Like Willy Wonka.
Yes, they'll be like, Jack, what are you doing? Working in a chocolate factory. What? Doing what? Taste
I'm
testing.
an Oompa Loompa.
Taste
I'm an
testing.
Oompa Loompa.
Getting
That's
sick.
why the Oompa Loompas are like that. They were the taste testers.
It's like such a great job. That's what I want to do. I want to be a taste tester and travel the world.
I am here for it. And this last question, as we wrap up this feel good topic of the day, you shared your bucket list or your living list. There are multiple locations on there. What is your dream trip or vacation experience? Like out of all the places you have decided are on your list to experience, what's the number one? Like, if this one doesn't happen, you will speak to the Lord, the Creator, whatever you call your higher power, and say, I needed more time. It might be difficult. It might not be difficult, but let us know your dream trip or vacation experience. What is that? I mean, yes, it has to have food, Jackie. We know that. So, like, scratch that out of the
I
conversation.
feel like I'm gonna have to say Thailand. I really
That's
do.
an interesting one.
No, because
Not the lavish. Got a funny story.
it says that it's actually the most expensive thing about Thailand is getting there. But once you get there, everything is cheap. I've checked out like houses out there, land out there is cheap or inexpensive, sorry. And then food is inexpensive. So I can get like a bowl, like a noodle bowl type, whichever ones that I decide to get. For maybe like Bermuda's $2.
Listen, if that was the case, we're coming back like Oompa Loompas.
I mean, I feel like with all the walking, like I feel like we're gonna find some way to.
But I would be okay with that. I would personally be okay with having spent less than $10 on a full day's meals, and still.
You're seeing girlfriends or girls trip with right.
Tiffany Haddish and crew.
I know how she takes the bike and she's on the bike. I will actually be the person cycling. I'll be like, all right, so I just ate way too much food, but I need to get to my next destination. Sit in the, I think what they call it, a little tuk-tuk.
Yes, tuk-tuk.
And I'll be the cyclist. And
you're gonna cycle us around?
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to
work off the food.
I'm not gonna keep buying new clothes. I'm still gonna maintain, some type of.
I am here for it, sis. And it looks like Michael Anthony Musson says Verona, Italy is on his top dream vacation experience list. So we love to hear it. I would have to say Fiji is my dream travel experience that I need to have. It is one that I've looked into from the like local economy perspective, and I realized, okay, I just can't go there and do the tourist travel experience. Like I have to put back into the local economy. And this one from Traveling Trotty Bora Bora, that is also like if Fiji doesn't happen, Bora Bora has to happen. One of those two.
They had the movie Couples Trip.
Oh, I don't know. That should be a trivia question for me. I will go research that, and tomorrow we will know. On that note, Jackie and I are going to take another quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with our Feel Good Vibe of the day. I'm going to be testing your knowledge against Jackie. We're going to see how this goes. We're in the decades of 2000s once again, so hopefully she gets at least one right. We'll see after this commercial break.
Last week.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. And if you're just joining us, we just wrapped our conversation around travel, bucket lists, and dream destinations. Make sure you let us know in the comments if you have any places that you haven't been to just yet and you still want to go to. Jackie and I would still be open to seeing where you want to go around the world. But we are going to transition to our Feel Good Vibe of the day. Today, I am testing Jackie's knowledge in the decade, the 2000s. She should know because she was alive during this time. So none of these things should be foreign to her. But if they are and you get the answer before her, all you have to do is email us right here at engage@goodday.bermuda for your chance to be entered into our 1-year anniversary giveaway prize situation. That's not what I wanted to say, but we're gonna run with it. Jack, are you ready for the first one?
No.
And audience. Okay, let's do this anyway. I'm gonna start with two similar ones, and then we're gonna go off the cuff. Mike Tyson and his pet made a cameo in the comedy The Hangover. What is his pet?
A tiger.
Oh yes, girl, you got that because I was a little nervous. If you didn't get that, I was gonna be like, okay, keeping it on the trend of The Hangover. What did the groomsmen lose in The Hangover?
His tooth.
Mm-mm.
His the actual groom.
Yes. The actual groove, yes. That is correct.
Because he pulled it out.
Now, this last one might be a curveball, but we're going to see. What popular shoe was unveiled in 2002 at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show?
A croc?
Yes.
Shut up!
Yes, you got it. Look at that. She didn't get any right last weekend. She's already started off this week with getting all three right.
I'm a winner.
You are a star. You are a superstar, girl. As always, Jacky and I hook up today's Feel Good Vibe of the Day. Has you ready to make it a great one? Thank you so much for watching and engaging with this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I am Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for more feel good conversations. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.